The Schrödinger's worker. Why risk is a probability wave, not a checklist. For decades, we've treated workplace safety like a game of I Spy. We walk onto a floor, look at a worker, see them wearing their safety glasses, and check a box. Safe. We see a spill on the floor, we record it. It's a binary world, a series of zeros and ones that we aggregate into a spreadsheet to convince ourselves we have a handle on the future. But here's the disruptive truth. Your workers don't exist in a state of safe or unsafe. In the moments before you walk around that corner, they exist in a state of superposition. Welcome to the world of quantum safety science, where we stop looking at risk as a static line on a checklist and start seeing it for what it actually is: a probability wave. In 1935, physicist Erwin Schrödinger proposed a thought experiment involving a cat in a box. According to quantum mechanics, until you open the box to look, the cat is simultaneously dead and alive. It exists in a superposition of states. Now, let's apply this to Schrödinger's worker. Imagine a technician working in a remote corner of a facility. There is a protocol to lock out tagout, LOTO, a piece of equipment. There is also a production deadline looming. Until a supervisor interacts with that technician, until the box is opened, that worker is effectively both following the protocol and cutting the corner at the same time. Traditional safety management hates this. We want certainty. We want to believe that once a person is trained, they stay trained in a permanent, solid state. But human behavior isn't a solid, it's a fluid. It is a wave function that represents the probability of an outcome based on 1,000 different variables: fatigue, peer pressure, tool availability, and even the quality of their sleep the night before. When we rely on checklists, we are trying to measure a wave with a ruler. We are catching a single point in time and pretending it represents the whole ocean. In safety science, threshold 1.3 teaches us that risk is not a static yes-no, or even a high-low ranking on a 5x5 matrix. It is a probability wave. Think of a wave in the ocean. It has peaks, high risk, and troughs, low risk. The amplitude of this wave represents the severity of a potential incident. The frequency represents how often those conditions occur. In a traditional system, we look at an incident and say, the root cause was a failure to follow procedure. We treat it like a fixed point. In a quantum safety mindset, we realize that the failure was simply the moment the wave function collapsed into a negative outcome. The goal of a modern safety disruptor isn't to fix the worker, it's to manage the shape of the wave. If a worker is rushed, stressed, and using a dull tool, their probability wave for an injury has a massive amplitude. They might get through the shift fine. The wave doesn't have to collapse into an accident, but the potential for it is everywhere. Conversely, a worker who is well-rested, psychologically safe, and properly equipped has a wave function that stays close to the baseline. One of the most famous principles in quantum physics is the observer effect. The act of observing a phenomenon inevitably changes that phenomenon. In the workplace, we see this all the time. It's often called the Hawthorne effect. When the safety manager walks onto the floor with a clipboard, the wave function collapses instantly. Every worker suddenly enters the safe state. They put on their PPE, they follow the three-point contact rule on the stairs, and they check their surroundings. As soon as the manager leaves, the wave expands again. The superposition returns. The problem is that our data, the checklist we fill out during those walks, is fundamentally flawed. We are measuring the observed state, not the natural state. If we base our entire safety strategy on what we see during audits, we are building a map of a world that only exists when we are looking at it. To truly manage risk, we have to stop focusing on the collapse, the moment of observation or the accident, and start focusing on the wave, the underlying conditions that exist when no one is watching. The science to life bridge, managing the probability wave. So, How do we move from a static checklist mindset to a dynamic probability mindset? How do we manage a wave? It starts with moving away from binary thinking. Here is how you can apply these high-level physics concepts to your everyday operations. 1. Focus on capacity, not just compliance. Compliance is a snapshot. Capacity is the wave. Instead of asking, did they do it right? Ask, does the system have the capacity to fail safely? If the wave function collapses into an error, is there a buffer? This changes the focus from stopping the error to dampening the amplitude of the wave. 2. Monitor the interference patterns. In physics, when two waves meet, they create an interference pattern. In business, waves of production pressure often interfere with waves of safety protocol. When these peaks align, you get a rogue wave, a massive spike in risk. Practical tip: look for the friction points. When is the schedule tightest? When is the equipment most likely to break down? Don't just audit for safety, audit for the pressures that reshape the safety wave. 3. Use quantum conversations. Instead of, I'm here to check your PPE, try, I'm here to understand the pressures you're feeling today. By acknowledging the worker's internal state, their fatigue, their stress, their distractions, you are measuring the actual probability wave rather than forcing a temporary, fake collapse into compliance. The checklist suggests that if you do these 10 things, you are safe. It creates a false sense of zero risk. But in a quantum universe, there is no such thing as zero risk. There is only a very low probability. When we tell workers that safety is a checklist, we shut down their safety brain. They stop scanning the horizon for the wave. They just look at the list. This leads to inattentional blindness. They are so focused on checking the box that they don't see the literal wave building behind them. Disruptors understand that safety is a dynamic, living system. It is a constant recalibration of probabilities. By accepting that risk is a wave, we become more agile. We stop reacting to the one-off accidents and start influencing the all-the-time environment. The new reality, from auditor to wave mechanic. If you want to lead in the modern era, you have to trade your clipboard for a frequency monitor. You are no longer an auditor, you are a wave mechanic. Your job is to influence the variables that keep the probability of an accident as low as possible. This means focusing on neuroergonomics. Is the environment designed for the human brain's natural wave states? Psychological safety. Can workers speak up about near-miss waves without fear of punishment? System resiliency. Can the system absorb a wave collapse without a total catastrophe? The worker is not a problem to be solved or a box to be checked. They are a complex, probabilistic system operating in an even more complex environment. When we stop trying to force them into a binary, safe-unsafe box, we finally gain the power to influence the reality of the work. Risk isn't a static line, it's a vibration. It's time we started learning the music.